A wonderful good day, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, God Shadow with Grixis Control. And I have not really changed a lot this week, basically nothing in comparison to the last 5.0 list that has been posted. So I also don't think there are significant differences to what I played last Sunday. So you should be familiar with the list, and I will jump over it real quick. I just wanted to thank everybody who participated in the paper deck show off challenge. I've received a lot of decks that I posted on Twitter, so everybody who still wants to have a peek, head on over there. And it's still open up until tonight, but then I will close it down and put up a vote, and so we can figure out the top 5 deck list. So if you still want to participate and gain access to $25 and the donation league, which does not necessarily have to be the deck that you're also posting, but you just get to choose which one. And yeah, that's still open up until later today. So otherwise, yeah, let's just head on into the league and enjoy our Sunday morning. Welcome to round number 1. We're on the draw as we almost always are. Our hand's also not really great, but it does have a certain degree of redundance. So if we're playing against a creature deck, I think this is fine. If we're playing against anything else, I think this is horrible. Well, let's keep it and see where we get. Creeping Tar Pit. So we're playing the mirror here. Let's see. It could also be a blue-black list, of course, without Grixis. Without... It's actually a Fairies list, and it's quite funny because we're just talking about it. Like, one of the lists that one of you has submitted was a blue-black Fairies list. And I was actually wondering if that was still being played in Modern. But apparently it is, and meeting it in a list here. Our pick is the Beetle Blossom. It's pretty easy, but just making conversation here in the in the meantime. So now we also have a pretty decent way to interact with the other cards as the fail push. I mean, this is not a creature deck, it's more of a control deck, but it does have a couple of important creatures for our opponent, which rewards them with tempo. Yeah, and we have a super redundant hand, like, doesn't really matter whatsoever. Also, we know the last 4 cards in his hand, and he basically only has a spell stutter sprite, which he cannot counter my Snapcaster Mage with. So the only thing that he could do, so he cannot counter my Snapcaster, which will provide me with at least a blocker for the Mutavolt, and I also do have a faster clock than him. But on the other hand, I won't be able to kill the click, which is a little bit of a problem. But I think that we can actually also wait here. Like, we have enough removal for days, basically. I think we can wait it out. Because the more lands we draw, the better our position, I think. So it's possible that... Okay. So I would have probably jumped in here and tried to counter it. But anyhow. Okay, Toxic Shores doesn't do a whole lot. But our opponent's definitely drawing more lands than we are, which is a little bit unfortunate. But now I can actually use the Archmage's Charm here to draw a couple of additional cards. And my opponent won't be able to counter it with the sprites. Alright, so we need to find... Alright, we already have one. So I think I want to go ahead here. This is a no-brainer. So I have to kill the click because he has 2 man lands and we can't fall too far below our current life total. So this is definitely gonna happen. And then I could go with double Serum Visions here while I have the ability to, because everything else is instant speed. Alternatively, I could also go with the Snapcaster Mage here and go after a Spell Stutter Sprite, but I think this is actually better. Just lining up our draws a little bit. And yeah, I do want to have both of these, kinda. And that will also... Now, I don't know if my opponent's playing like stuff like Jace. I could probably handle a Jace at some point, but 1/2, 1/2, and he can activate the Mutavolt. So I would have to counter. No, I think this is not so great. So in case he's gonna go with the Jace here, alright, Bitter Blossom is definitely gonna be a problem. It's not as bad as it used to be due to the fact that we have a little bit of life gain in our deck. But generally speaking, it's not great. Also, if I go with the Snapcaster Mage here, I'm pretty sure that my opponent's gonna go with the Tar Pit while I'm tapped out. Because I would have to counter the Spell Stutter Sprite. Because Bitter Blossom is also a fairy, counts as fairy tribal. And therefore he has the necessary requirements here up. So I need to gain access to my Lurus somehow without losing too much equity along the way. So I'm gonna shock here, which has to be my last shock or self-inflicted life loss. I'm also at 7 right now, so we should see. 7? No, I'm not at 7. Don't know what I wanted to say there. Kind of wanted to talk about all right. So now I'm gonna wait one more turn, and then because I don't want to fight on my turn. Really, the logic not, because my drones are just superior here for the most part. Okay, so I think I need to try this. See what he does. So if I go now with Drown Law, then we'll be caught by another Spell Stutter Sprite, and if he has a third, then we'd be totally fucked. On the other hand, though, I need to get my lures down. And afterwards I still have 2 fatal pushes. So I'm keeping the fatal pushes up here because of the man lands, which I think are just very problematic. What did you just do there? Oh, you remanded it. Okay. So that play I'm super happy with, actually. I don't have an issue with that at all. Because now I can put pressure onto the battlefield, like... And he also has to play around my lures. Okay. Interesting. So I don't think there's an issue at all, because I can just play the lures. And then go with another Snapcaster Mage. It's not perfect, of course, but now he cannot attack with Mutable because that's not a good attack. He could, of course, attack with the Tar Pit. Yet I know that he does have 2 spell status sprites in hand, which means that his 3rd card has to be a removal spell. Otherwise, it's going to be really tough here for him to compete with Malurus, both in terms of card advantage and in terms of life gain. It's possible, of course, that there's a Snapcaster Mage or a Fatal Push, and that he's gonna try to... Like, if he's gonna activate the Mutavolt here, it's very likely that he's trying to... for us to commit into a line where... it looks like Tar Pit is coming. Oh no, a Cryptic Command. Law. Perfect 2 draws here in a row. That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. Okay, so let's see if we can actually beat this somehow. So I could kill the Fairies, see what he does. He's down to 8. Could, of course, also attack with the Tar Pit here. And just kill the Vendilion Click. But that would open me up to him attacking with both, which isn't great. So I think the play here is... So 1, 2, 3, 4. He does have 1 spell status right up. If I bounce the Fairy here and then kill the Vendilion Click. I also have to be careful a little bit with the time here. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. Let's see what he does if I attack with my Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Interesting that he's not attacking whatsoever with the Tar Pit nor the Mutavolt. So apparently he doesn't want to commit here. And now we just have... Well, Snapcaster changes the equation a little bit. So now in his turn, I could go Volt Snap Bolt, have a counter up. Now I think that's our last play. I think the Volt Snap Bolt is our very last play because now he's down to 6 and it's lethal. And he's not yet able to threaten us. Like, even if he goes with Torpid and Mutavolt here and both Fairies, I'm just at 1. And now it's happening what I hoped was gonna happen. So now I can fight over the Tar Pit, which will, of course, end up in a loss. But that's fine because I will have Bolts and Bolt plus a counterspell. And the only way that that he's gonna get out of this is by also having a Force of Negation or another counterspell up. Oh no, he has to have a Force of Negation. No, he can't. No, he doesn't have the mana, of course. Oh, this was a really tight. Not the mana, the cards in hand. This was a really tight game. He has to commit here. Like, he has to play the spell stutter because otherwise my Torpid is lethal as well. So it wouldn't have really mattered. Like, I could have also killed him with a my monitor is so far away from, like, I hardly can see the cards in my graveyard right now. Just making sure that I'm clicking the right things. So this was a pretty tough game 1 because my opponent drew really well, I think. I mean, yeah, he had a little bit of too many lands, but 2-man lands and the Bitter Blossom that really helped him out there. So that was pretty good. I think I need to play the Anger here. I don't know if he's playing Snapcaster Mage. And if he isn't, then Nil Spellbomb is just dead card, I think, for the most part. Due to Bitter Blossom, I don't really want to bring in the Thought Seizes. I could see myself playing the Maya Tritons, though. So 1 Anger, 1 Maya Triton, maybe? So I want to have 1 Anger, but not 2 Angers. I think there's definitely going to be a couple of creatures on the battlefield for our opponents. And he might also be playing swords or that kind of stuff. So I'm bringing in 1 Anger here, and I think I'm gonna ditch not a fail push, more a Dreadbore. Yeah. Because playing at sorcery speed here in this matchup is really bad. And I'm not bringing in the Maya Tritons because basically everything in our opponent's deck is a 2-for-1 against it. We're gaining a little bit of life, which was the initial thought. But yeah. So I think our opponent's probably not playing 4 Bitter Blossoms, but rather 3. Because you mostly cannot come back from, like, 2 Bitter Blossoms on the battlefield, especially in a meta such as this. So I want to keep this, I want to keep this. I need to keep this just because of an early spell stutter sprite. So I think I'm gonna go and ditch the snap. Alright. That's decent. So I think I want to have the 7 visions here because it makes a couple of things better for me. I'm also doing it in his turn because my opponent is playing... Does he have a Bitter Blossom again? Are you fucking kidding me, man? Maybe he's playing more. Alright, so I'm not going to go with the black yet. Just want to play out my Jace and give myself the ability to potentially go with an Archmage's Charm. So now with that frequency, I think I'm going to put my opponent on to... onto 4 Bitter Blossoms here. Otherwise, maybe it was just a coincidence, but I think it's still better. Interesting. So I'm not going to fetch here, just in case I need to run against something. And then... So I have 2 blacks already. I think I need the Fatal Pushes. Therefore, I'm just gonna ditch the Serum Visions. Up this one. And just play Swamp. And then again... Lol. I think I'm going to counter with the Archmage's Charm here so that next turn I can go with an Lurrus. Might have Force. Does have Force. So I'm doing it right now. If he attacks with the Mutable, I'm fine with it. That's fine. Now he's also got the 3rd land. Ah, that's interesting. That is interesting indeed. So I think Anger is exactly what we want to have here. And I just need to find another red source. We do have Cascade Bluffs exactly for this reason. I could let this resolve. Due to the fact that I would have to protect my Anger anyway. Therefore, yeah, I think I'm gonna let this resolve. It will hurt, of course, and it's not certain that I'm gonna draw a red source. But if not, then I can still kill it and counter the other thing. And yeah, this is more important anyway. So happy with that decision. Come on, give me a red source, mate. Ah, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Alright, so I can have a look at his hand. Which is probably superior to the fail push. I still have the lightning bolt just in case I need to kill this. And he's probably not going to risk that thing. So my play here is having a look first. Yeah, Spell Stutter and Spell Pierce. So Spell Pierce is basically dead. I think I'm just going to go with that. Okay, cool. Alright. So we are in the game now. Cannot do a whole lot. I almost expect him to be attacking the Jace with a Mutavolt next turn. I think I'm going to go top in this order. I mean, it was pretty obvious that I'm going to go top, but... In this order, I mean. Alright, cool. Playing around counter magic as best I can here right now. And then... Interesting. So he could go with the Notion Thief here, I guess. What difference does that make for me? So if I'm gonna go and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I need to wait one more turn here. Also, I could potentially, like if I find another counterspell here, I could also flashback the Anger of the Gods, which would be pretty decent. I either need a land off the top or a counterspell. And there's also basically nothing else in our deck that remains, so... Yeah, he knows that he has to make a move here. Which is good, because now he doesn't have the Notion Thief up, and I can fight on his turn. Man, Fairies is so good against us. Like, the Bitter Blossom alone is just so insane. Alright. So now... That's pretty decent. If I go red, red, blue, I still have the Lurus up. And in case something's coming... Law. Alright. Yeah, this is a little bad for us. Not gonna lie. Double spell pierce is somewhat bad for us. Also, this is lethal now. Well, it isn't. Because he's attacking our Jace, which is fine. So last card in hand is a Notion Thief. Which I kind of have to counter, I think. Or do I? If an opponent would draw a card except the first card, yeah, well, it's not even that good. And if I go with a Lurus, I still have Snap Bolt up. And I'm at 5 life. Yeah, I think that's the play here. Because I will know where he's gonna go. And I'm gonna draw my card in his turn, therefore I don't even have to kill the Notion Thief. And I don't think there is a way that we die next turn. Nonetheless, we'll have to have a look here. It's a cryptic command. Hopefully he's gonna... And now I actually have to go after the Notion Thief, just in case he's not gonna fetch that Polluted Delta. Because otherwise we die. It's gonna wait though. Then we should be good again. Alright, so he's fetching. And he waited for the fetch for failed push to be an option here. Alright, cool. Cool. So we can tap in his turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Let's go with this. See where it takes us. I think he's gonna do the same move where he's trying to pivot. Okay, so he's down to 4. I'm gonna draw an additional card. If that's a bold, then he's dead. Nope, it isn't. So we're gonna tap all creatures your opponent controls or a card. Oh no, I missed the... Oh shit. Yeah, that was my bad. Should be okay because I still have the cryptic command, but that was not well played here. I was too focused on drawing a bolt. Obviously should have waited here, but yeah. Still won the match. Pretty good match. Pretty tough match. Like all these little tiny shit fucks. Okay, so we would have drawn a Scalding Torn off the top. Then we would have drawn into the cryptic command with the Jace, which would have given us the ability to go cryptic, tap, draw, even through a counterspell, we would have won here. We would have won anyway because my Jace could, of course, also always go with a Fatal Push. So there was no way we're not gonna win this unless he had a bolt, a Fatal Push here to kill the Lures. All right, GG's. Off to the next round. All right, welcome to round number 2. We are on the play here. For the first time in what feels like forever. We're playing against a Gigantha deck, so this should either mean it's 5-color Niv Mizzet. It could be Tron, and I guess it could also be Ponza or something similar, although that is very unlikely. So I think I'm gonna keep... I have a turn 2 counterspell, but I need to find another land. Best case scenario, fetch land. So I can't lead with the torpid here, because that will kill my... Yeah, this is all bad. Alright, yeah. It's Neutron, and this is horrible. Also, he kept 7 cards, which is very unusual for a Tron deck. And has turn 3 Tron nonetheless. And we're not drawing a single fucking land. Despite having 7 visions for it. And having had 2 additional... So we've seen 5 cards of our library already, and have not seen... So I have to stop a Karn Liberated here, because if he's gonna take a land, it's over anyway. And I guess he could also be playing a Karn the Great Creator, and then just fetch for a liquid metal coating, which would be fine as well, because... Yeah. If this is now... Alright. Another expedition map. And Gigantha. Alright. So here's me just hoping for a fucking land. This is fucking insane, dude. Fucking insane. Yeah, I can't do anything. Not kidding myself. I think if we had just drawn another fetch land there, then we would be in a decent position. What was this factory? Okay. Dude, what the fuck's going on here? Why don't we draw any lands? So I probably want to have this thing, just ditch the Inquisition. I also don't want to show our opponent that we're actually playing counter spells. Like, I think we're so far behind at this point that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to play this out. So I just want to show a couple of Fatal Pushes and Inquisitions. He might still bring in Veils of Summer, I guess. This is just the worst. So our opponent apparently, I don't know, like either he doesn't want to play anything unless we do. Oh my fucking god! Unless we like do something, or he just was stranded with like 5 or 6 green cards in hand. Anyhow, this was fucking insane. So I don't want to have the bolts, especially against Gigantha. Don't want to have this. I do want to have the Valky. Valky actually pretty decent in this matchup. I do want to have Thoughtseize, this one, and I want to have Damping Spheres. So yeah, that's perfect. And it, you know, Tron being Tron. I should make a list of decks that I don't respect. Tron is definitely one of the top decks, but there are others. Like, I don't respect a lot of decks. Yeah, I think our opponent's kind of confused. Or might be checking deck lists. Either one or the other. Because otherwise he shouldn't be taking so long to sideboard, especially if he's also playing Corin the Great Creator. Which I guess is a possibility. But he might not. Like, I don't know how many slots in the sideboard you have. If you're playing Gigantha and a couple of Veils of Summer. I mean, you can still have like 10 fetch targets for Corin, I guess, but still. Alright. Tron opponent's done with his decision making. Always takes a little longer. So we're gonna start, and I think I'm gonna keep this because I do have a turn 1 Inquisition that can hopefully stop him from turn 3 Troning, and then I might be able to find a Damping Sphere early on. Also, I do want to know, I do want to get a little bit of info about like Veils of Summer being in his hand to plan out my future turns. Fetch land would obviously be way better here, but what can you do? So looks to me like this is natural Tron in Corin the Great Creator as well. Which is, I don't know what I have done to deserve this, but alright. Alright, so the Scorching Torrent isn't bad. Inquisition is not good. And despite the fact that I kind of need... So this one goes to the bottom. We already have a K command, that's fine. I think I need to Snapcaster Mage Serum Visions next turn. And I probably want to have Cryptic Command be an option as well. Therefore, I'm going to put that to the top so that our turn 4 is definitely going to be a hit. This kind of takes the ability away to Alright, we do have an Archmage's Charm, which is okay, I guess. So I'm going to put this to the bottom, reason being that if I need to utilize my Archmage Charm, which is unlikely, but I probably will have to do something here. Okay, it's just a Karn, which I will be able to kill whatever happens here. Trinity Sphere. Okay. I think that's fine. Kind of think that's fine. So I'm just gonna hit the Karn here because that's gonna die next turn anyway, and now I can actually counter whatever. So tower is gone, this gone, this gone. And now with the Trinity Sphere actually on the battlefield, it would be so amazing for us to draw a Damping Sphere because from that point on, like our opponent, like all his cantrips are bad, Veil of Summer is bad, like basically everything in our opponent's deck, except for the really heavy hitters, is super bad. And I think I need to go with a Water Grave here and just counter this. And then my opponent might, of course, just activate the Trinity Sphere. Interestingly enough, I think this is one of the artifacts that when you tap it, it actually becomes... Huh. So I can put his number of cards in the graveyard to at least 5. And that doesn't count in any cantrips that he might be using. So I think this is actually reasonable to do. Target player discards and destroy target artifacts in order for us to be able to play the Tron. And then I can counter additional cards. He still doesn't have access to green. Apparently our opponent's not playing any green lands in his deck. And there seems to be a lag here. No, our opponent's just making the huge decision of what to discard. Was an Ancient Stirrings, which is a little bit bad for us because that's exactly one of the cards that I wanted to see him play before he starts playing something big. No, this is not good. Okay, One Call Engine, I guess, is still somewhat okay because we have a couple of ways of killing it. This being one of them. So I cannot do both. I can only have a look or do the Dreadbore here. think I'm gonna kill it. Because that is the 6th card in the graveyard, so I can, like, in case there's another Wormcoil Engine, like, I can at least deal with that. And then next turn, I might be able to get myself Lurrus in hand. Okay, Cycling Wilt is decent. Also, I think he might be just getting Oza's Factory here, but I don't think that I can counter this. Oh, it's actually going with the Force. Might be Giganta. Might be Walking Ballista. What the fuck? Can't be countered? Ah. Haze protection from blue can't be countered? Yeah, seems fine. Seems totally okay. So I just wonder why there's so many of these stuff. Can be countered protection from blue. Sure, why not? Alright. So I could kill the lifelinker here. Don't know if that makes any sense. The only reason for doing this would be to tap out for Lurrus. Because otherwise, next turn, like if I take this, I'm down to 8 and then I'm dead to this. So I need to do this to just stay alive. Oh my fucking goodness. Another one. What? So the problem is, if I go with the Lurrus here, then he's just gonna get the Giganta, even if he's not drawing anything. And sometimes I wonder why there is, like, we have Choke, we have Boil, both of which just hate on blue. But there is nothing such against green, black, you know, whatever. Not even against colorless. Like there's of course land hate against colorless, but not like destroy all colorless land, which is a little bit annoying, I have to admit. So he's not playing Giganta here. I'm just gonna bounce the token and so counter, return. And now, well, I guess. I mean, this at least stops a lot of these shenanigans of our opponent, right? And we also, like, unless he draws a Walking Ballista, we also won't die this turn. And then I actually have a, block for this shit fuck of a card. But all right. Is that his 4th expedition map, by the way? No, last game was the one where he had like an insane amount of expedition maps. Okay, so I guess if I play the Lurrus here, I have a block, but I don't have anything to play because of the damping sphere. So, yeah. It's okay, it's not perfect. And our opponent's up to 7 mana now. And I still assume that this is going to be a Mishra's factory. Or is a factory. I don't know what exactly it was. Not Mishra's workshop, of course, just being a vintage staple. Yeah, Blast Zone makes sense, I guess. I don't think there's anything that my opponent can play off of that Ancient Stirrings this turn. That also helps him here. Well, Corn the Great Creator is certainly not bad. But if he plays Corn, that will cost him 5, then he cannot pump the Blast Zone. So he has to decide on whether or not he wants to do one or the other. And I have to block. Like, if I had 4 life or whatever, like, I would not block here, but I have to. And now we're basically trying to find another K command and or it's actually playing the Corn, which is interesting. And he's also taking it down. So we don't have bolts anymore. We do have Dreadbore though. Walking Ballista. Interesting. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna take that. Don't care whatsoever. Because it's just a safe hit, which is nice. Okay, so after we've countered whatever is coming here, so it could be, I guess, a Sunring Titan. Oh, that costs 8, right? Also, you would have to kill. What is this? Orb of Warding? You have hexproof. If creature would deal common damage to you, prevent 1 of that damage. Do I even care about this? I don't think so. Like, how bad is this shit? Yeah, I don't think I do. Like, no. Okay, so Ceremonious Rejection is actually a good card here. Also, now I think I'm gonna bounce the Blast Zone. Could become a 5/5 though, so have to be a little bit careful. Yeah. So bouncing it would open myself up to a Veil of Summer. But he's already played like 2 of the Strange Hydras. And this is actually a decent draw. So let's see if he's gonna play that again. Cannot counter anything due to stuff. That looks like this might be a walking ballista. Sure. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he gets a turn first, right? When you cast the spell, you get control, yeah. So we can actually... And there's a Womb Call engine as well, so I don't think that we're getting out of this alive. This is, of course, fucking hilarious. That my opponent has like 6 card types in his graveyard. He can just cast a 30 mana spell of 8 mana. The problem is that he can Dreadbore and then counter it, but my opponent is a Tron player, so maybe he won't see the line. Also, this thing just has yeah, protection from instant, so we can actually kill it with the Dreadbore. So if I were him, I don't like already. I don't know what my opponent's thinking about here. Like he only has 2 playable spells, and you know it's very obvious to just play one counter the other. Like there's, I don't know. And also, like what you want to do here is like exile my entire graveyard with the logic knot. Oh my goodness. Trump players, man. Well, maybe he'll time out. Just playing this turn. All right. So still, if we draw a Snapcaster Mage here, we're still in decent shape, actually. And I think, like, even the Cryptic Command would be decent. Not perfect, but decent. Oh my goodness, dude, come on. Okay, so we have 3 Snapcasters, 2 Cryptics, 5 hits. Don't think there's anything else, though. No, there isn't. So this is flying and has trample, so even if I were to grab something that has... Does this also have... No, it doesn't have reach. Typically, they also pump reach on it, so... Yeah. Our opponent got lucky. Off to round number 3. Also, like if he had drawn this reverse, like if I had gotten to play my Valky here and I had gotten the Emrakul, um, but well, whatever. Yeah, all right. Welcome to round number 3, and we're playing against the Lurus deck, which could either be Hammer Time, Boggles, or Death Shadow, I think. Could also be the Mirror, of course. Which I never hope for. Like, I really don't want to face other Grixis decks because it feels like I'm cutting myself in the flesh. Like, it's not a good feeling. Alright, so it seems like we're playing against Hammer Time. I think our hand's decent against Hammer Time. Hammerstein is actually surprisingly resilient and, you know, just an overall pretty decent deck. So I still want to go after stuff here. Um, just need to find one more land. Like if we find one land, we're pretty good. So I can't counter this, otherwise that might be an option. And I think I'm not even gonna kill this. I'm gonna take the damage here. Because if he does have... Okay, he doesn't. But if he had a 2-mana spell here, like another Stoneforge or... Okay, now things are different because we have another land, which at least gives us another Fatal Push turn. And we also do have Lodging Knot, of course. My opponent must have a weird hand here. Okay, now we're in the game. Made it far enough. Yeah, that won't resolve. Actually, I might need to shock here because my opponent could be tricking me. Yeah, I think I'm going to shock here because my opponent might be hiding a land. And then I'm going to have a way harder time. Like then I have to commit to my Snapcaster or Fatal Push or K-Command. It's very unlikely, but it's possible. And since we're dead with one hit anyway, I don't think there's a whole lot of a difference. Not gonna play the Jace yet. I wanna utilize my counter magic as long as I can. Springleaf Drum doesn't do anything. Mem Knight does a little bit. Yeah, so he was actually hiding a couple of these. And I think since I have... Oops. Shit. Now I hurt myself. Since I still have double removal spell, and also counter spells, I think that's fine. Okay. So this gone. Shadow Spear. Yep. I'm gonna go after that. Um, So for me, it's important now to not be trampled down. Therefore, yeah. Because this way he basically cannot kill me even if he does have another Colossal Hammer. Because I can't kill this thing. And then I can also kill the other one. Unless he has a Mana Tithe. Okay. So just a Stoneforge Mystic apparently. Should be fine. He's even playing it instantaneously. So we're gonna have a look. That's another Sigora's Aid. And then I'm just gonna kill it. Okay. So at some point it might be time to get the Jace down, but I kind of want to have K command up for that point. I have a Snapcaster right, yeah. So I'm gonna return and destroy artifacts. And that should be fine. Okay. So this deck is surprisingly resilient and surprisingly fast. So I think Ceremonious Rejection is an easy include here. I could go with Cryptic, but I don't want to. My Triton is okay. And I don't really want to have the bulky here. It's more important for me to have access to Anger of the Gods, I think. I could go with a Thoughtseize, but it's a very aggressive deck, and sometimes it's really tight margins. And yeah, I just want to have the ability to take over the game and like after the third or fourth turn. And at that point, like any additional copy of, well, I can keep this. Any additional copy of Thoughtseize is just bad. Yeah, Sigarda's Aid, certainly decent. Oh, now he knows about Anger of the Gods, which isn't great for me, to be entirely honest. So I'm gonna have a look at his hand nonetheless. And I think since he knows about the anger, it's not as good. So I'm gonna go with a Water Grave here. Yeah. What did I see here? Another Give of Runes. Okay, so I think I'm definitely gonna take the RX champion because that's really difficult for me to interact with. And my opponent could go with double giver here, which he does. I draw another. Okay. Another Anger of the Gods here for us. Which is kind of bad. What is this? Another giver. So he's got one unknown card. So I have to kill one giver anyway. And I think I'm gonna keep up the rejection just in case. The recording. Yep. So I think I'm gonna go with another. This. It's actually not bad. And also, I could now steal the Give of Runes if he doesn't want to do anything. And then just Archmage Charm, and then just Anger of the Gods. What did I just say? So I could Archmage Charm the Give of Runes. But this is not great. I have to. Actually, I could still just steal the Give of Runes and just have decent outs. But if he's ever able to equip that thing, then I'm just dead. So, yeah, let's counter this. It's possible that he has another land, which he doesn't, which is great. That's also decent. Pure still Paladin. So I guess I could go with an Anger here that kills the Give of Runes. And then, I mean, he's gonna protect the Stoneforge, but then he needs to have 1/2, 1/2. He could fetch here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. If he draws an equipment, though, I'm just fucked. Nope. All right, need to counter this and hope that he does not, like his last card in hand, is not an equipment. It is. No, it's not. Great. Okay, so now we're just gonna do this. I think. I mean, it is not completely unlikely that he's gonna. Yeah. All right. Sure. Sure, opponent. Sure. The turn after this, we just have him. But anyhow. So I think that boarding was correct, though. I'm not gonna bring in anything else. All right, let's see. I also need to eat something. Come on, opponent. By the way, I think... Yeah, we're gonna keep this. We have a K command we can look for. So this is basically us being on the draw with an additional mana. So I don't want to have this, I think. But I do want to have this. Let's have a look. Colossus Hammer already. So up until now, our opponent has drawn really, really well, I think. That's interesting. So we can counter basically anything because of the Mishra's Bauble, like even if he doesn't have an additional fetch land, which he does. Alright. So I know he has one hammer in hands anyway. But I think this makes sense because of the Springleaf Drum, like just maintaining a clear board state. And then next turn, oh man, our egg champion is pretty fucked up. It's freaking fucked up. So I need to maintain the ability to... He's got 2 Colossal Hammers in hand. If I kill the Springleaf Drum, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so this resolves because it can't do anything against it. And I think I need to utilize this here and fetch for Black Source. This is... That's pretty fucked up. I don't even know how I should beat the Auric champion here when it's equipped. I think I need to counter this. So I know he has 2 Colossal Hammers in hand, and if he has another Sigaris 8 and a land, then it's really bad, but like if he doesn't have the... Like he needs to have another land and a Pure Steel Paladin to just equip stuff. Okay. It's not great by any means, but our opponent has a freaking insane hand. Freaking insane hat. Really, really, really good. Cannot attack. Need to wait for him to go with Loris, I guess. She apparently doesn't want to play into my open mana, which is good. Okay, so definitely need some sort of counter magic here. Snapcaster Mage isn't bad, I think, but it's also not great. At least we can kill all the Colossal Hammers now. It's gonna be a rough ride. 100%. Okay, so only lures and two hammers in hand. So I guess I could pretend going in here, but I don't think that's feasible. Really just a little bit too risky. So I guess he's gonna bring in Cigar to say, okay, so now he commits here, which is interesting because now I can actually kill that Auric champion. So I think this is not good. This is just not good. Never mind, because he still does have the drum. I guess I could also kill this and make him discard a card. That way he would have to decide on whether or not he wants to bring in Shadow Spear, which is his only way of generating trample, or the Colossus Hammer, and then the other turn I can go Snapcaster. No, I have to kill it. Alright. Destroy target artifacts, 2 damage. because I don't want to leave myself open. I only have one. Right. Lol. Did he just do what I think he did? He protected lures instead? Okay. That is fine with me. I mean, yeah. Sure, be my guest. So I would have definitely protected the Auric champion there. Because, like, everything kills that lures. Not only a fail push, but also a K command, a Snapcaster Mage. Basically anything. A Cryptic command in combination with Lightning Bolt. Just no way that, you know. Alright, so this is also a mistake. So my opponent's doing some weird stuff right now. Like, he's played pretty decently up until here, but I think these are just a sequence of very bad decisions. And I think I'm not even gonna take the Shadow Spear, although that could bite me at some point. But I don't want him to come around with that. What's on top? I think another Moth, right? Perfect. Ceremonious Projection here is really good. He's gonna play the Shadow Spear here, I imagine. Yeah. And that's fine, because I'm gonna kill both. Destroy target artifact, 2 damage. This one and this one. Alright, so now we're basically safe against any additional copy of Symbol, which I can counter, actually. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh shit, I think I just forgot to activate the bubble there. I don't think it changes anything at this point. I'm too far ahead, but still. Should have, of course, done it. And now I think I'm just gonna go this. And then, even if he can somehow remove one of my threats here, which he doesn't even do. I have lethal here. Okay. GG's. Is this over or like what the okay. GG's. Alright, welcome to round number 4 here. I just went on a little walk and in the sun, and I'm feeling pretty good, although a little bit undersugared. I kind of want to keep this, but if our opponent hits us, either with a discard spell or alternatively, this is slightly better, with a creature deck, then we would be fucked because we're gonna spend the first couple of turns to just find a second land. But if we're playing against a control deck, on the other hand, which we aren't, Okay, so this could be Heliod, this could also be Ponza. In either case, I think it's correct that we actually mulligan that hand. Yeah. Okay, so it's Heliod Company, a deck that is pretty well positioned in the current meta. So what's the most likely scenario here? I don't really care. Like if he does have a spike feeder and he slams it, I don't really care. Both because even an arbitrary amount of life here wouldn't guarantee our opponent a win. And on Moto, like he can't do that anyway, so we just have to go through like 100 life probably. And the second best option for my opponent is probably a Ranger Captain here, which I would have to deal with then. But I think I'm just gonna pass the turn here as we have Logic not up. And it depends. Like this way, we have a little bit more information about whether or not our opponent has a third land. And apparently, he doesn't have, or potentially doesn't have, another white source. Which, all right, there's the spike feeder. And although I don't really care about it, I think I'm going to counter it here, just to avoid situations where my opponent is telling me that he has infinite life and he should have won here. So the only thing that's really problematic for us, it's another spite feeder. Interesting. Do I let this resolve and just draw 2 cards with Archmage's Charm? I don't think there's anything super bad that could happen to us, but I'm gonna counter it for the same reason as before. All right. Kind of want to have both of these, especially the lightning bolt though. So I'm just gonna top both, and then I'm gonna kill the thing here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So unless he has a land and walking ballista in hand, like we won't lose here. And this is to a certain degree fine because I can kill this here in my turn, so that he cannot protect it with with the Ranger Captain, by the way, probably one of the most underrated cards in Modern. Mostly just being played as a combo piece, but I've played it in Death and Taxes lists and such as just really, really strong. Also pretty undervalued on Moto, like it just like 6 ticks, and it's a mythic from Modern Horizons. It's just one, right? So I think I let this resolve, or do I? So what he will do is he will pump it up with the Pendelhaven so that he can shoot me down. But by doing so, I'm kind of giving him the... I'm going to counter this because I'm giving him the opportunity to choose the point where he wants to go off, and I cannot interact with it beforehand. And I think for that reason, it's important to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this is a 3-3, which is a little bit annoying. I think I'm just going to go with the Snapcaster Mage here and kill the Elder Elf so that he has a little bit less mana to work with and also not a creature to pump, while also maintaining the ability for myself to kill a bigger creature down the road. Obviously, we would like to find a 4th land here to fully stabilize. Alright, so it's a Spike Feeder. As I said, like, I don't really care about it. Can do whatever. Could have also let the first couple of things resolve. This would be a problem, though, if they had, like, a Conclave, blah blah blah, whatever it's called. Like this card. Because then it would grow each time. But like this, it's not really a big deal. Also, I can probably make him discard a card or force his hand in that regard. If he has a Path to Exile in hand, which I think is kind of likely, like he has to have some spell in hand. And this is of course a little bit tedious also to watch, because now we have to slug through a shit ton of life. And I assume that once we go and kill the Spike Feeder, he's, you know, gonna continue doing stuff. I also assume that the last card in his hand is probably not a company. Could also be an Ancient Apparition. No, it's not called. Skyclave Apparition, actually, not Ancient Apparition. Alright, so my opponent just keeps doing it. I don't really care. Like, we can mull him out. We can even... So, a couple of times I already killed my opponent by... Oh, it could also be another Heliod. Yeah, it's probably another Heliod in hand. Otherwise, he would have played the company. So, a couple of times I already killed my opponent by just coming off with his own combo through Tybalt, which is kind of fine. I don't know what this is like, what we're doing here, but okay. Yeah, he's gonna write something like blah blah blah, infinite life, blah blah blah. But as I said, like, I have so many win conditions in my deck. I don't have to kill you by sheer numbers. It would just be the easiest way, potentially. Also, we have to be a little bit careful about the likes of Warrior Champion, which my opponent's playing, which is part why the deck is currently so well positioned. Like, Auric Champion in the main board Spike Feeder combo out of nowhere is just infinite life. So Burn and Death Shadow decks can never beat you. And yeah, I think overall it's just a very, very potent deck, which sometimes is a little bit tedious to play against. And I wanted to actually avoid this situation, but my opponent somehow is like drawing more Spike Feeders than I can kill at a time. So as I said, my money is on another Heliod in his hand or a Path to Exile. Kind of hoping for a Path, but I expect a Heliod. He's just he's just adding to his life. Oh, I think I might have made a mistake here. He pumped it with Pendelhaven. Alright, that's my bad. I actually didn't know that. I should have read the card. Yeah, that was pretty bad of me. And was indeed another Heliod, and I shouldn't have attacked here either. Alright. More concentration. Well, I don't actually know if anything changes. Like, you can pump the other one to being pretty big, I guess. Just by removing a couple of counters here. I need to find more, either more lands or more removal. Okay, so found both. I do have a black source here. Probably want to go and have at least the Blood Crypt on top as well. So this is going to be very problematic if he's going to draw a Conclave Mentor as well. This is the 4th Spike Feeder, which is also super annoying. Alright, just a land, which of course she's chalking because it doesn't really matter. I think I'm just blocking both. And then I'm going to kill one, and in case everything goes south... Which one do I want to kill here, by the way? This one, okay. In case everything goes south, I still have the Snapcaster to block. just in case my opponent somehow gets above 9. Damn, I'm a little bit pissed that I didn't see the Penlaven interaction there. That was pretty bad of me. So this is 7 now. I think I need to block that. Because otherwise, a Walking Ballista is also always lethal. I don't think that he has a Walking Ballista in hand, because otherwise he would have just comboed off, I guess. Okay, another Cryptic Command is not the worst. Now, of course, you can sacrifice the Spike Feeder in response, or you can just Company. Now, that wasn't a phenomenal hit, but it also wasn't a bad one. I assume that he's gonna sack the Spike Feeder, and kind of okay with that, I guess. The Penlaven is still, like, it's just making things way more complicated for us. Not only because of the one situation, but now our Snapcaster mages cannot block an Auric champion anymore. And I will have to go with... Yeah, he actually sacked it, which I think is fine. So, need to see... It's just an Arbol, which is fine. Yeah, I think this is actually a decent choice. A good hedge. But any of our removal spells should also get rid of the Arbor Elf. So... Alright, so I can play my Lurus here next turn, just have to be careful that I don't die. Three lands in a row, while in the beginning we didn't draw any. It's a little bit annoying, but nothing that we can do anything about. And now we also have enough mana for... Interesting that he's pumping the R12 there. Okay, so another R12, which could get us back into the game. Like if the last card in his hand is dead, and Yeah. Okay. So it is the obvious choice to a certain degree. Just have to see here. Noble hierarchy. Okay. Good. So I can take the other Albuel with the Archmage's Charm. And I can also attack with Lurus to just gain a little bit of life. That's a fatal push, which is also decent. So let's see if he plays the Noble Hierarch before. Yeah. And then I guess he's gonna pump the Auric champion, which is the only logical choice here. But it could still be, well, okay. Could have also taken the Noble Hierarch. I mean, he can just, yeah, just tap it here. Right. I don't think that's actually a bad choice by my opponent. Probably a good choice, because he knows that I can actually. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I cannot win that way anyway, so I need to find. Okay, just a Vista, so probably 2 lands in hand at that point. And I think I'm just gonna kill that thing. Play this one tapped. So we have decent blocks. And I'm just looking for a Tybalt at this point. Because we're not gonna win through damage. Skyclave apparition. Maybe you should have, like, if he had known what was gonna happen, then he probably would have kept that. So I'm gonna draw 2 cards, as I don't think I have much to lose here. Yep. Okay, K command is decent. If I play the Snapcaster Mage, I'm making his Auric champion stronger, but I also do have the ability to bounce it. And then discard it, which I didn't have before. So I'm gonna fetch here for Black Source. And then return this. Perfect. Great. Okay. So yeah, we're not like 232 life. It's quite a bit. But our opponent's down to 10 minutes, and like we can spend a little bit of time here. think I'm just gonna go with Nog Mage's Charm, draw a couple of cards. Yeah, my opponent's just trying to get a little bit of minutes back here. And I think as soon as I have... it's even more important for me to find a Jace than it is to find a Tybalt. Apparently I don't draw either. Come on. Fuck me. Give me a Jace, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that again. Draw a couple of cards. Insane. Insane, 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 insane. I mean, by now we're dealing a shit ton of damage each turn, but... Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and ephemerate here to get my Jace, self a Jace. And then we have a couple of turns where my opponent's also down to somewhat a reasonable amount of cards in his deck. I kind of want to get this done in at least 2 minutes. I'm not doing anything else anymore. We only have a couple of turns left, and But now you also realize, like, it's actually not me being the bad guy here, but it's our opponent. But should be good now. I think we just won. We're still 2 minutes up. Also, I could have, of course, also just comboed him out with his own combo. But the reason I'm not doing that is that it just would take too much time, and apparently my opponent just wants to time me out here. Okay, so now we're playing everything, basically. Hello? I don't know what just happened. Okay, good. All right, this way at least we have a couple of minutes left. So I want to have the anger of the gods, I think. I want to cut down a little bit here. Probably want to have this one as well. Bulky is actually pretty good in this matchup. Both offensively and defensively. A Cryptic Command is the only card in my deck that can deal with a resolved Heliod. Therefore, I need to maintain. Also, choke is a problem. I think I'm going to cut down a couple of the Archmage's Charms, even 3, and go with another Cryptic here. Archmage's Charm will mostly draw 2 in this matchup. Of course, we can generate like 1 blocker in between, but yeah, not a keep. Okay, can keep this. And I think that I'm gonna get rid of the snap. So I'm hedging here against both. So that thing here, like he cannot cast the Ranger Cat right now. He doesn't have anything that he can untap a white sword. Well, never mind. Okay, so now Ranger Captain into probably a Walking Ballista, which I think is fine. Because he's probably not going to block me in my turn. Kinda incentivized here to go with the Drown Loch instead. Just as a safety valve. I don't think it really does change a whole lot, but still. Okay, so we get a sweet 2-for-1 here in any case. And then have a couple of counter spells up, plus a good removal spell here as well, which is just decent. Also, of course, hamstringing my opponent's mana development to a certain degree. But my opponent also has 5 cards in hand, so we shall see. Okay, so if this is a walking ballista, I'm probably going to go after it right now. Try to get that Veil of Summer out. Okay, so there's no Veil of Summer apparently right now. Otherwise, he would have probably protected it here just to cycle it. Which is also good. Just good to know. So next turn, like I didn't want to shock here, but next turn I will take the opportunity to potentially spend a little bit of mana on my Lurus. Although we don't have... Well, let's have a look first. Alright. 3 apparitions and company. Which of course I won't let resolve. Just gonna draw a card here. And now we have Lurus plus both of these. Okay, so he's just playing an apparition apparently. Yeah. Without any utility. Yeah, I'm gonna play this and try to protect it. That's probably way better than any other play that I could have here. Okay, great. I think all of that is gone. I kind of want to have the Torpid, of course, but I think it's better for me to just go with the Inquisition here, and now I'm having a lag. How did my opponent just give up? Alright, great. GG's. Alright, welcome to round number 5. We're already 3-1 and looking for another sweet 4-1. Let's see if we can do that. Also, just a couple of other things. I'm gonna post my Discord link in the description below so that everybody who's interested in discussing Grixis control can join and is welcome to join. Just want a little bit more activity without a paywall in between. And also would be great if we could find 1 or 2 mods for that Discord, because I'm pretty decent at playing Magic, but I'm not super great at, techie stuff. And therefore, like, bots for the Discord server, etc. There are a couple, but definitely a room to improve. And I think just in case it's a burn deck, which could also be playing Lurus, I'm just gonna play the Scalding Tarn here for a basic mountain. If it's anything else, so this could be Death Shadow, but the more likely might could still be both. Yeah, alright. So it's definitely Hammer time. And I think we have a decent hand against them Hammer time. Also have a really weird taste in my mouth right now. Yeah, let's utilize the time to play the Creeping Torpid here. And then if my opponent's just playing, could also be a Death in Texas build. No, it's Hammer time. Alright, yeah. So it's a little bit sad that the other card here was Nigmoth Nexus. Otherwise, I could have just gotten my Lurus, but I cannot do that now because he, in theory, like if he has a Springleaf Drum, no, I don't think he can kill me because he has to play Sigora's Aid. And activate this and play Colossal Hammer. So, yeah, I don't think we're about to die here in any case, even if I tap out. But the Lurus also doesn't provide a whole lot of value right now, therefore we will just keep it as it is. Also, we've just drawn lands off the top here, which is somewhat annoying. Okay, so just activation for his Lurus. Yeah. Which is fine. He spends his time doing that, like I can accumulate, hopefully, a couple more spells. Counterspell would be great. Thank you. So I think the only card that I'm countering here is actually Lurus. Am I recording? Yeah. By the way, I think in my last video, like I'm using a new video editor, and I think there was a small delay between the picture and the sound, so that I was actually talking about the events after they happened or while they were happening, while, you know, all this talk typically is before stuff is going down, like the analytical stuff. So I hope that I'm able to fix that this time, but again, not the super tech guy. Yeah, I'm gonna let this resolve think. I just want to counter the Lurus, TBH. And also, yes, these are 2-for-1s to a certain degree, but I wonder if Sigora's Aid has flash. Does Sigora's Aid have flash? Okay. So a shit ton of Colossal Hammers and a shit ton of Stoneforge Mystics. And now I'm actually not keen on putting mana into... I'm going to shock here just to have an additional mana that I can spend on lodging out without having to restrict myself in terms of removal. Okay, so if he does this, then I just assume that Sigora's Aid does indeed have flash. So opponent's looking for action here, which is a little bit surprising because he's already got 7 cards in hand. Okay, Archmage Charm is not bad, because even if he doesn't do anything in his turn, I can improve my position relatively to his. Now something's happening, alright. Sadly, Archmage Charm cannot take manlands. Otherwise, that would be pretty great. I don't really care about these hits. And I think that my opponent does have like a Lurus and 5 equipment spells in hand, at least 3 hammers and something else. Let's see if I can kill this here. Okay. Lol. Okay, Snapcaster Mage is also not the worst. Means an additional removal spell or an additional Archmage's Charm to draw a couple of cards. And I think here what I'm going to do is... Yeah, that's fine. So this needs 2 to equip, but apparently it doesn't want to equip. So I'm just going to play the Snapcaster Mage here, block a Stoneforge Mystic, target the Archmage's Charm, and keep my Lightning Bolt up. That way, I don't only get a 2 or 3 for 1, but I could also potentially return it with the K command next turn. Like, I'm not gonna counter any spell that isn't instantly attached to anything. Okay, so we might have to counter this, though. So this appears to be... No. It is not. So this is a 1 of 3 now, which is not very impressive. And I could even, like, I could also just take it over. But I think the cards that I have in my library are overall a little better. So what do I want to do? I probably want to have 6 mana up here. So I'm going to play this one tapped. I definitely want to kill the Shadow Spear. Interesting. So I don't actually mind my opponent spending mana on these kinds of things. There are only 2 cards in this deck that I need to prevent from happening. One of which is Sigurda's 8, and the other one is Pure Steel Paladin. And of course Lurus, but that is just a single. My opponent's also taking a lot of time here, so I think I'm gonna go... I'm actually gonna go return and kill a couple of creatures. Return, target creature, and kill this, I think. Because sometimes these lists play these hexproof boots, and there would actually be a little awkward if he brought those in like the end of turn. All right, so this is a card that I was waiting for to finally deal with that Lurus. So I don't have to deal with that anymore. Oh yeah, so a lot of Colossal Hammers and not much else going on. And if I spend 3 here, then I do not have the ability to go with Snapcaster and a K command, which generally speaking is like the most important thing to me right now, because I can then recycle my Snapcaster. So I'm gonna wait one more turn, and then I'm gonna get the lures down. So he just drew a land, so we know everything that he has in hand, and I think he might have just given up here. Not, not exactly sure, but yeah, I think he's given up. Okay. So, what are the things that I want? I actually want to have these cards. And not much else. So Valky, not great here. All my removal spells are pretty decent. I think I can cut the cryptics entirely, right? Cut the cryptics, bring the angers in. And that should be good. On the play, I might bring in the Thought Seizes as well. But on the draw, as before, just want to be a little bit cautious. Yeah, hand's good. So I think it's more important for me to go with the Inquisition here than to kill the Give of Runes. Okay, so he does have Sigarda's Aid, and he does have a Springleaf Drum, which means I'm definitely gonna take the Pure Spell Paladin. So if he draws a Colossal Hammer here at the top, then he can go Sigarda's Aid into Hammer. Okay, just a Thoughtseize. Which in either case, like no matter what he takes here, I think is okay. Because my play is probably, like, of course I would, okay, that's actually even better. Like, I don't think, okay, so now everything's on the battlefield. Sure. Ooh, Anger. Anger is actually pretty decent here. So I want to have both on top so that I can go with Seven Visions into Creeping Torpid next turn, then take a turn off. And then stuff is happening. So he knows about my Inquisition, therefore putting the Lurus in his hand is of course a little bit awkward. But everything depends here on whether or not my opponent can find an equipment here rather sooner than later. I need to kill that Giver of Runes this way or that way, but I don't think it changes a lot. My Snapcaster Mage can still block the Ornithopter even if it is equipped by a Colossal Hammer. but that would require me from like taking off a turn, which means that I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I would be pretty fucked, I think, if my opponent found a Colossal Hammer here. Alright, this is fine though. So apparently he's not gonna... Like, if he's not putting the lures in his hand... Just keeps attacking here with the... Giver of Runes. It's so awkward. Yeah, I don't think a lot changes for us. Because if he just keeps attacking with that Giver of Runes, that's actually a net benefit. He doesn't know about my anger. Therefore, that's fine. So I want to have this, and I want to have this as well. Oh, shit. Yeah. That was actually also great. That is not so great. This is not so great. So I need to kill the Give of Runes here first. And then I have to go Snapcaster Mage, kill the thing here. Which is not exactly what I intended to do initially, but... Like, he knew about my Inquisition, which was a little bit awkward that he... We're still at 3 lives, so it's fine. Yeah, I need to do it right now. Keeping the Inquisition up for his lures that at some point should come down. Because he's got nothing else to do. Next card that we're going to draw is Jace, which I think is also pretty nice, because no matter what happens after that, I think with a Jace in play, we're in a pretty good spot, because it can potentially block a creature just for free, and of course at that point I also have access to Tron again. Okay, so he's still not doing anything, just of course is even better. I could also get the Give of Runes with my Archmage's Charm. I think I stopped the recording, now I should be back. Yep. So I'm not going to do anything, as the situation hasn't changed a lot. This is access to 4 mana right now. Stillforge is a pretty good draw. Doesn't give trample though, so still fine. I could just kill the Stoneforge Mystic here and just take over the Give of Runes. I think that's actually a decent play. And the only thing that gets me after that is a flying creature. But he has to draw a flying creature and another equipment or a pure steel paladin. I could, of course, also go with the anger here and just kill both. Maybe that's just better. Maybe it's not better. I think I'm going to kill this and take over the Giva. No. Oh no. Mm. Oh damn it. Come on. Something off the top. Snapcaster Mage, Fatal Push. That was also the only thing. Like, I opted to maintain the Anger of the Gods because it would give me the ability to actually deal with an Ornithopter. And therefore, Ingmoth Nexus. Alright. Alright, guys. Alright. I don't quite have lethal here. But if I had drawn a bolt, then I would have had lethal. But I don't think that from this point on, bad things can befall us. Also, it's pretty neat that the Ingmoth Nexus by itself doesn't do anything, as it just doesn't deal any damage. Wow. Wow. He even had both. That's fucking insane, man. So our opponent got extremely lucky here. Like, I don't know what the chances are to draw exactly an Ingmoth Nexus into um, the equipment here. But anyhow, we also got lucky in drawing a fail push. I still think that I played it correctly, because that was his only out. What? Your mom suck me? Okay. Yeah, GG's. Yeah, dude. Come on, concede. Okay, so another reasonable result here, which is pretty fine. Let's have a look at what we're gonna get. In our loot boxes. Thoralf. Nice. So I don't like that they actually renamed it to Thoralf, because it's not, it's not a great name, but Divine Visitation, and Toralf. So double mythic. It's actually quite insane. Also, I was really looking forward to Thor, and I would have liked Thor, God of Thunder and Lightning. For me, this creature should have haste for like 1000%. But anyhow, Thor's hammer, so Mjolnir is a pretty decently, like, I really like what they did there. Mjolnir is fucking insane. But the front half of Toralf is really not on theme, I think. Yeah, Kuzan Gamma. Don't know what that is, but nothing relevant. Dude, what are we drawing today? Golas and Garuk. Not bad. Not bad either. Alright, don't know what this is. Tidal War. And finally, Future Side. Alright, that concludes today's Mon League. We ended up 4-1 again. I think we fought us through a pretty difficult league, actually. And in the Tron match, we just got super unlucky. But overall, yeah, still pretty happy with the performance. And I hope you enjoyed the league. As I said, check out the Discord link and keep an eye out for the poll that I'm going to put out the next couple of days. And see you guys next week.